Good morning, everyone. This is the Nerd Doctor here to diagnose what's wrong with your RPG game and here to help you fix it. In today's episode 4 of module building. So we are going to go. I'm going to doing this a little bit different than I've done in the past couple weeks. I've got the in each and every one of these origin stories that we have. We've got scenes basically 1 through 4. One's kind of an introduction to their village, the NPCs, the environment around them, and just immersing them into the setting. 2 is like always this kind of training yard where they're facing off the training dummy. The purpose of this is not just an opportunity for a little bit immersion, but also like new players who are getting used to DC20 mechanics have an opportunity to do so. Or if you're trying out something new, even as a veteran, this will just kind of get you in the swing of things for your game. And then scene 3 is the trial. The trial is meant to be a character building trial. And then scene 4 is just them getting the notice that they have been basically invited, approved, however you want to word it, to become one of the next retainers. And so that is basically the scene structure that I'm going with for these novice scenes. And the thing that I'm trying to work backwards from is that trial that they are going through. So, here in Uzuma, you can see Trial of Still Waters. I started the Hoshin Clan, Trial of Poisons. It isn't flushed. It hasn't been flushed out, but you can see that just there's the kind of structure. And so each and every one of these, I was working on this week to figure out what are those trials going to be, because that's pretty much the hardest part of these scenes. Disconnected, reconnecting. What are we disconnected from? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Reconnection. Okay. And we're back. Okay. Don't know what that was. Anyways, let's get back to trials. Okay. So, let me pull up my scene for this. Okay, so the Hoshin Clan, Trial of Poisons, it was the working title I went with. And I think I'm going to stick with that for the moment. So the setup for this is going to be the PC is assigned a target who possesses critical information. The target is unaware they are being tested. Excuse me. That they are being tested. The mentor provides access to several basic poison options with minimal instruction. So choose how you will learn the truth is basically the concept. And so the available poisons that they will choose from are alcohol or hallucinogen, which they can use to manipulate the target into revealing information, sleep powder to incapacitate their target and look through their belongings, a sedative where they could, basically forcibly kind of put them in a disadvantage so they can forcibly extract the information. Blackout, which is a way of interrogating, but they'll lose all memories of that interrogation. And then Assassin's Poison means, we'll just poison you and you'll take damage until you tell me the truth and I'll give you the antidote. So those are the options. And the point of this trial is they're going to choose which one they're going to work with, and that's going to be kind of their starting poison for their class talent. And it also kind of set the tone for how this character wishes to play. Are they going to be, a little bit more manipulative? Are they going to be straightforward, threatening? So it immerses the character into a decision that is going to gear towards their type of gameplay. So let's set the scene here. So read aloud text. Meet with mentor. Autofill. Mysterious enigmatic works for me. Character is meeting with their mentor. And I'm doing these, and I'll refine it later, but I'm doing this more like a shorthand because it could take me a while to type all this up. And so while my viewers are watching, I'm just kind of doing the short, easy route right now, but I do go back and refine and fix when I have more time, because I'm only doing this for an hour. Characters meeting with their mentor, and their mentor is going to open a case with a selection of poisons. You see a alcohol, hallucinogen, geez, can't type, sedative, sleep powder, assassin's poison, and what am I missing here? And a hallucinogen, sedative, blackout, and a blackout poison. Keep it short. Description short. And I'm leading, so, and here's how the kind of structure is going to go. They're going to come in, they're going to seed this, get that read aloud text. We're going to do an NPC note and dialogue in here. And so, NPC dialogue, this is meet with mentor. And we keep the titles the same because they'll appear in the same drop-down menu, which is exactly what we want. Autofill, mentor, I like the enigmatic and secretive. What do we do? Mysterious. Mentor is a insect user who insect keeper slash user feudal Japan setting. Keep description short. I don't like long descriptions if you can't tell. All right, so let me come back up here while that's generating. So as you enter the shadowy alcove of your mentor's study, the air thickens with a blend of incense and the faint metallic scent of an unknown bruise. Dim light flickers from a single lantern, casting eerie shapes on the walls. Welcome, my student. Your mentor murmurs, their voice barely above a whisper. With a swift motion, they unveil a polished wooden case, intricately carved with sigils of ancient wisdom. Inside rests a sinister selection of vials, each containing different fate. Alcohol, crystal clear with a sultry glow. This liquid winks at you, promising dulled senses and reckless abandon. Hallucinogen, a swirling cascade of colors like a captured sunset dances in the glass, hinting at vistas unfathomable, yet treacherous to the mind. Sedative, thick and viscous, this soft green concoction seems to pulse gently, beckoning for a moment of stillness amidst chaos. A sleep powder, fine as dust, this shimmering powder sparkles with the almost inviting allure, whispering promises of dreams, yet unimagined. Assassin's poison, dark as the abyss, the liquid within is thick and unwelcoming, a potent reminder that trust can be sometimes prove fatal. And blackout poison, murky and foreboding, it swirls ominously, promising oblivion and a veiled escape from reality. Your mentor's eyes gleam with a cryptic intensity. Choose wisely, for each holds power, but also a weight of consequences. What lesson shall we uncover today? Perfect. Okay. And when I say perfect, I mean I'm still going to go back and probably edit it. Okay. Aiko Tsukigawa. No. So, and I like Aiko, but here's the thing. Japanese names start with their last name first. And this is a clan. This is the Hoshin clan. So, Hoshin Aiko. Boom. Sensei. Hoshin Aiko. And to keep her mentor, Aiko is a slender figure draped in dark, flowing robes that whisper secrets with every movement. Her long silken hair resembles fine spider threads cascading around her sharp features. Aiko's large, expressive eyes flicker with an otherworldly light, hinting at her deep connection with the insect kingdom. In her study filled with glass-enclosed terrariums, the soft hum of buzzing wings and the delicate rustle of chitin can be heard. She speaks little, letting her creatures convey lessons in patience, precision, and art of patience with her deadly beauty. I'm okay with that right now. Again, I'm not trying to get crazy with this. So Sensei, Hoshin, Aiko. Voice, a little gritty. Soft and gritty at the same time. Soft but gritty. She speaks with kind of an ominous feel is what I want to say. I don't know how to describe it. Ominous feeling. Ominous feeling. Ominous in nature. Ominous and questioning. And I say questioning like a high-pitched, like kind of tail at the end. So, I don't know if a reader will get that, and that's one of the things I'll come back to and kind of do a little research on it, like how can I describe this? All right, this one I'll do just because I already kind of have it in mind, but choose the alcohol or hallucinogen to suede. And I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna just go here and I'm just gonna go. Your mission is to extract information from your target. And I'm going to put a couple commas here because I'm going to put a name here. Name. Choose a poison to feed the insects you keep. They will gain the ability to use properties of that poison. As you gain, skill is the wrong word. As you become more proficient, you will be able to train them in more types. I'm going to start with one. Choose the alcohol or hallucinogen to suade your target to reveal the information. They have differing effects but their result will be the same. And I'm leaving it ominous. There's obviously a difference between the two types of poison in DC20. Choose the... Alright, what do we got? I'm blanking. What do we got? So alcohol, hallucinogen, sedative. Sedative, if you wish to overwhelm and torture the information out of your target. Choose the sleeping powder. If you wish to knock them out and search their person. Be careful though. they don't have what you seek, you may be out of luck. May need to, may need to, may need to, not result, may need to rely, that's not the word, may need to, there's a word there at the tip of my tongue that's just not coming out, resort to more drastic measures. Because essentially what happens if you choose any of the other ones, like they give you an advantage, right? You know, you can search through the problems, no issue. You'll have advantage on like persuasion and stuff like that with like the hallucinogen and the alcohol, or deception, like persuasion with alcohol and deception with hallucinogen, or vice versa. However you want to play it as the DM, you can kind of structure that yourself. I'll give some guidance, but that's the way we're kind of playing this. You know, the sedative will give you, you know, intimidation advantage. Yeah. So that's pretty much, you know, there's benefits to each and every one of these, but there's still going to be rolls. You know, it's not like that information's just going to come out. More drastic measures, but like, you know, if they use the sleep powder, wait till they wake up and then try persuasion, deception, or intimidation. Well, guess what? All right, choose the sleeping powder if you wish to knock them out and search their person. Okay, choose the blackout. Potion if you have a conversation or perform an action they won't remember. So again, you won't have any of those advantages, but they certainly won't remember you doing anything to them. Choose. All right, blackout, sedative, sleep powder, assassin's poison is the only one left. Choose the assassin's poison. If you wish to place a timer on there you go again, it's in the top of my head. Place a value on the time they have left. For this one, you will also receive the antidote, which you can choose to apply in the event they give you what you want or not. Make your choice. All right. So we've got all that. And then basically NPC is going to choose one. And this is going to be one of those ones where, like, I'm going to do this scene, and this will have more than 4 scenes in this case, because they'll do this scene and then they'll go off and encounter whoever they're going to encounter. So, and I can actually, maybe I don't have to do that. Let's go with, very nice choice. Good luck. All right, so basically they make their choice in this scene, give it to them. I'm just going to do one addition. I'm going to do a separate dialogue. And this is going to be the same, under the same browser. Meet with mentor. I just wanted this separate because there's obviously a lot of quotes in here. And I want them to be able to easily see what comes next after they make their choice. And it might be best if I throw in a little GM only. Yeah, that's fine. GM only. Just throw this right here in between. Reveal what? The poison. Oh. No, we'll just put medium mentor because again, we want this all in the same thing. Or not. No. Here's what we'll do. This will be, because one of the things I'm factoring into as I'm doing these is the ability for people who want to solo play to have that option, because I don't want all the information under it. This will be like a GM only moment where they'll be able to come and skim read this based on the poison choice. Player adds that to their inventory permanently. Adds it to, not permanently, adds it to their inventory later when they gain the talent at level 0. Let's put little caps on this. Level 0. They can choose the poison they chose. Boom. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to move this to post choice. A wise selection. Doesn't matter what they choose. You will find your target at the tavern. And let's name this tavern the sake cup. That's what it'll be for right now. The sake cup for now, and I'll change it later if I have to or want to. Good luck. Oh, you know what we're missing here? They are. So Hoshin is a. Hold on, let me backtrack. Let me step out of this for a second. Saves that. Let me just check. Life around the island. So Hoshin Island, greatest airships. Okay, so and like I just could not remember off the top of my head. So trial poisons. So Hoshin is a home of airships. It's one of their duties to protect the secrets of building airships. Like their clan, their island is responsible for it. It's not made anywhere else. And so let's just say that this is someone who's trying to extract the secrets, who are trying to build their own airship business. They are a operative. Operative, middleman. I'll think of something later. I'm going to just go from here. Actually, I wonder if I can do this. I want enigmatic and secretive. This quote should tell the character about a person, just leaving it like generic at the moment because maybe it'll come up with something better, about a person who is after secrets, after airship building secrets. Find out who they are working for. And this is great backstory too, because it kind of creates an underlying, They are a shadowy figure cloaked in whispers and intrigue, tirelessly seeking the arcane secrets of airship construction. Rumor has it they have a hidden cabal, a clandestine league of engineers, mercenaries. Oh my god, this is horrible and long. Keep the quote short. All right, that's still wicked long. Okay. No. Okay. And this is why I don't rely on AI for everything. Target is seeking information about our airship building secrets. Find out who they are working for. So as I said, this is a great little plug for this kind of origin story because it actually sets you up for something later if you want. You know, in the middle of the game, maybe you find is like what'll happen is maybe you uncover the secret, and or it's like an ominous secret, but you pass your test, which is the whole point, and you're going to become a retainer, so you're going to be sent away. But maybe at some point in the game, you're able to pull back this backstory and do that as a side quest. Good luck. That's it. So that's the scene. And we're going to add in, well, I mean, we could just add in the encounter, social encounter. Combat, social. It might be best to throw in both. I'm going to lead with combat real quick and go to, let's say, so, or skill challenge might be best. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a skill challenge. I'm going to bring that to, oops, nope, that's not what I wanted. Skill challenge. Bring it up. Can I bring it up? No. Too big. Nope. There we go. Okay, so skill challenge. I'm going to put these three under, you know, all the same title, under the same drop down with operative confrontation. Confrontation with the operative. And I'm going to put a GM's note. I'll bring this up. There we go. So, 3 ways to run this. A skill challenge, a social encounter, and a combat. So, depending on how you want to run this as a DM, you can have them, you know, engage in a combat, but as soon as their poison takes effect, you know, switch it up. And this is, I think it's best as a skill challenge because you're going to use, let's say, your attack modifier in order to poison them. There's a save DC, and like this can be secret, like it can be a secret attack, like they're manipulating insects, so they can simulate their target being bitten by a bug, and then player walks in and engages them in a conversation, and then you can make that a skill challenge where they pass applying the poison, the save DC, did the target save or did they fail? So that would be one success and one fail. But we're failing forward. So, you know, if you would make the attack, they're still going to succumb to effects. But if they fail to save, it's going to be it's going to count towards a failure. We'll still apply the effects, but there'll be one failure accounted for. And then there comes the conversation, persuasion, or whatever, whatever they're doing. If they, let's just say they attack with a poison, you know, it's just going to create different situations. And so I think a skill challenge is going to be the most flexible, because depending on how those success fails, you can wheel the story forward. If you do it as a combat, you know, I think combat's, I think, like, I'm going to put a combat here, but that's only if you like fail. Like if you fail all these, and again, they may attack you, they may not. It's really, there's a lot of ways to go with this. It's more just I'm putting the combat here because I want you to have the ability to run it if that's the route you want to go. If you want to do a social encounter, you can easily do that as well. Obviously, it's just a different type of a little bit more advanced version of a skill challenge. This is 0.25. Just go with 1. Jeez. Okay. 1. Let me just start there. There we go. Okay. 0.25. Medium encounter's fine. This should have automatically changed. I think 12 is the novice level. Patience. So, yeah, you can just go right up to it and just start interrogation and call it a social encounter. So let's go with, let's bring this here. Confrontation with an operative. I just think the skill challenge is going to be the most easy for people to run. 12. Monster rules. 0.25. See, automatic threshold right there. Challenge, I'm pretty sure it's still 12. It shouldn't be 13. Normal difficulty, success threshold. So this is where you might want to change it. Full success, we'll call it 3. Challenge description, and we're going to do attack check. Target save. And this is where they kind of get to choose persuasion, intimidation, deception, individual success reward. Find out the information. Don't find out the information. Success, each 5. Like, find out, when I say find out the information, like, find out the initials of, so like a regular success. And this is one of those cases where you can be a little bit flexible with it. It's totally up to you. But find out the initials. Could be a regular reward. Success by 5. You know, success by 5 for me is like 1 additional success in this case. Like, keep it simple. So if there 1 additional fail. Find out the initials of the target. And I'm going to have to add this, but the thing that is missing from this is, like, what is the failure? Like, success threshold is, obviously I'm putting it at 3. You could put it at 2. Totally up to you. But what's the failure threshold? So I'm just going to put in a little here, failure if 3 fails happen. Results in combat. And this is the fail forward we want to talk about. Like if you beat them in combat, they'll give up the information, you know. And if you defeat them, you gain the information. So a little bit of punishment by making it longer and harder, but you still are going to end up resulting in the information. Like you can't, like we want them to feel the risk of failure, but you know, for the purposes of the story, we're trying to fail forward. You know, there's complications, there's things that get in the way, it makes it more dramatic, but you know, it's not like they're not going to get invited to the retainer trial. Like they need to ultimately success results in combat description. Yeah, and so I'm gonna just put in here, we need a monster, and this is where I'm gonna pull up a second one of these and go to my monsters. So you won't be able to see me for a moment. It'll probably be really beneficial for me if I put a little search menu in for that, like of what the available monsters are. And I'm just gonna search levels novice. What do we got? So novice, the only novice level is I don't have a level 0 in here. The only novice level is an animated training dummy, but let me just see what it does real quick, because it might be fine for what it is. Like I'll just describe it as a person, but I just use the same stats. No, don't want that. Giant rat. Some goblin stats here for level 0. Kobold stats. A thug, level 0 thug. Thief, actually, that'll work perfectly. Thief, hit points 4. Dart, hinder, dagger, fan of daggers. That's actually perfect. So we're going to go with a thief. Makes total sense for this particular scenario. So, thief. Battlefield map, tavern. Or, you know, tavern, alley, or back room. You know, you might choose to take them out of the main hall for this confrontation. Could start a bar fight easily. This is a quick skirmish, quick chaotic fight. Targeted strike, elite team, stomping ground, fight the enemy territory. No, boss puzzle. No, so we're just gonna call it a skirmish. Combat objective, stop daring rescue, hold the fort. Scroll up a little bit. Daring escape, hold the fort, save the NPC, sabotage, base defense, peacemakers, the arrest. Yeah. Capture them alive. Starting position, let's just say at a table. Right next to target. Attack strategies and tactics. So, I mean, you're going to find, like, I'm going to just say C monster card for this. Role play notes. They feel compromised, so they want to escape. So, the thief is alarmed that they know what they're doing. They are after airship secrets and wants to escape. Treasure a letter, and let's just say 10 gold. Don't need any combat notes. Perfect. Social encounter, competition with the operative. So what the MT is trying to convince the NPCs to do, reveal reveal the information, reveal who they're working for. And so, again, obviously, what you can do is you can just make this a conversation, and you know, aversions. You know, they don't want to find out. So, interests. Actually, let's start with interests. So, they don't want their boss to find out they snitched. Interests. Don't want to be arrested. You know, if the NPC comes in with a role play, or sorry, the player character comes in with a role play and is like, look, I'm not going to turn you in, just tell me the information and you can be on your way, that's going to be an interest to them. Like, they're going to be alarmed that someone knows what they're trying to do. So throw that in there, and then boom, you have a reduced DC by 5. And then they, you know, if they say, it's like the elements of a social encounter is you're engaging in a conversation, and you as the player do not know what this NPC's aversions or interests are. And so what you're describing here and making a social encounter, because this is probably a little bit new for some people, the concept of a social encounter, at least the way that, you know, the dungeon coach has created it, is there are some, you know, conversation landmines and conversation rewards for talking in certain ways. If you hit those landmines, it's harder. If you hit the good stuff, your beginner language makes it easier. And if you success, and this is like you're trying to get information from them, so that's pretty on point for these two. So aversions might be, I'm turning you in. You leaving?
Yeah.
All right, guys, get ready for some PDA.
Wait.
Love you. Have a great day. Drive safe. Turning you in. Turning them into the authorities. Aversions. Threatening. I think threatening them would be like an aversion. Like, they're going to be less cooperative. I know, and I'm not saying this because, like, obviously, if you're threatened, you'd think some people are more likely to cave or make it easier. But like, this might be someone with like a little bit of grit to them, and so if they're threatened, they might double down. You know, like that's like the one thing you can't do, threatening them with violence. I think. Now they may be scared of their boss, but they may not be scared of the, you know, new player character, and so if they like threaten to fight them, they might be a little bit confident, because this is going to be a level 0 character, and this level 0 character is higher than the novice character, or sorry, level 0 monster, and they are technically more powerful than a novice level player character. So this is a perfect way to kind of throw in an aversion. If they threaten them with violence, that DC is going to be more difficult. Outcomes based on success points. So outcome 0 SP, NPC refuse. Okay, so in the way that social encounters work in DC20, and they might change, is you can decide when to end the conversation, and based on the number of success points, you can get what you want. So one. I don't like that. I have to fix that. One success is they give the players their boss's initials. Add outcome 0. NPC refuses. Let me do this. Zero, combat. Fight it out. Two is they get an alias. Alliance? No. Alias. I don't know what I'm doing. Alias. Outcome 3. Outcome 3 is they get the full name. They get the real name. And so they get to, the player gets to decide when they want to end the social encounter. Encounter description. The other thing that I'm going to put a note for is if the DM just decide, if they opt to engage in a social encounter, poisons will obviously give them advantage in this social encounter. So again, you can run it as a skill challenge. It's more about options. Oh, back already? Couldn't take being away from me any longer. Yogurt? I'll get you some yogurt. I mean, I'm not going to see you for. Well, I'll make sure it's here for Monday or Tuesday. I'm gonna miss you. I'm not gonna see you for like 4 days. I'll make sure there's yogurt here when you're back. Love you. All right. Let me check something real quick. Okay. So yeah, biggest thing, three fails happen, results in combat, and if defeat, and then in combat. So the thing I want to go to is the GM note here. So skill challenge, DM's choice. DM's choice for the most part. 3 ways to run this. Skill challenge, social encounter, combat. The thing that I want to emphasize in here is, again, the player can choose for a social encounter, allow player to choose when to end it, and outcome is based on the number of successes. So I want to point that out, but make sure to roll for the player. Secretly. Adding players' modifiers as needed. Here's why. We don't want to know. You shouldn't know if you succeed. The player should not know if they succeed. It's as simple as that. They shouldn't know if they succeed. Why should they know if they succeed? If you roll 3 great rolls, and you should base it on the social cues of the reactions of the DM and how they converse. They might know if they fail, or they could have succeeded, but they've just caused that reaction. But they should not know. And when they decide to end that encounter, then you reveal how many successes they had and go on the outcome. Because if you have 3 great rolls, you pretty damn well know that if you succeeded or not. And if you know if you succeeded, you might be like, all right, I'm done. And that's really anticlimactic. There's no drama in it, nothing. So if you're going to run social encounters in DC20 or in general, I think and this goes for any conversation like you're having, like I would roll all persuasion, intimidation, and deception rolls for the player and just ask them what their modifier is. If they tell me that that's what they're doing, I'm going to roll that and ask them their modifier, and then play it out, because they shouldn't know how good they're doing. Like if you go lift up an object, if you're lifting up the object. But like insight rolls, and again, like that's another one. Like people use it as a truth detector, and it breaks role play when you roll bad and you're like, I don't trust this person even though I rolled bad, or I rolled really well. Oh, I guess I trust them with everything. You know what I mean? Like it's just not the way that I would recommend playing it. But I think this is pretty well. I mean, I might fine tune this a little bit later, but I think this is in a pretty good spot. And now let's just go check and see how it looks, because I'm just weird like that. Hoshi origins. Oh, you know what? Wait. Okay, so here's an issue. It's not loading. let's just make sure I save that because I would be really upset. I was pretty sure I saved it, right, guys? Oh, you know why? You know what? One of the things I need to do. Yeah. Okay. So here's the deal. Here's one of the things. You got to refresh. You got to refresh. Come into scenes. Otherwise it won't load. You gotta refresh. So I haven't done scene 2 yet, which is fine. But here's our scene 3. Now, obviously we have these asterisks here, and this is part of why I like doing these demos and playing with my own tools live, because it shows me when stuff's not working. Because I am by myself here. But oh, the combat information didn't load. I'm gonna have to fix that. But this is one of the big things. Like me going, like I don't have time to go through and test everything that I plug in, or when I make changes or fix. Like I can go do some quick stuff, but in general, I don't have time to do it, and I kind of rely on my players more than anything, or sorry, some of my users to kind of let me know when stuff's not showing up right, and then I can come in and fix it. But when I'm doing these live streams, it puts a quick note out there for me, and I'm just going to add these couple quick notes. So I want to add in what's this? What's going on here? This is combat scene element is not loading. So where am I? Combat scene element not loading. Okay. And what else? What else did we find in here? Nope. Combat scene element not loading. Everything else is doing good. But I want to add a failure threshold, because maybe you don't want it to be the same. So a failure threshold for social encounter. And there was one other thing I saw. Skill challenge was auto updating, but let me just double check what I was looking at. So modules, weight of honor, scene training. Nope, it was Hoshi, trial of poisons. So there was one thing in here not changing. So if I change this, okay. So skill challenge not auto updating the challenge DC. So it says manual, but it should auto update. And maybe it's after I type. Again, so they say manual. What about combat? No, so combat's not auto updating. And then social encounter. So auto. Let me do it that way. Okay, so it's manually when I go below 1. But that's interesting when I change it. Part of level 1, yeah. So it's changed. So skill challenge, combat, DC, and social encounter, not auto updating DCs when changing party level. So that's just something I want to make sure does happen. And if you have manual, great. Like if you want to change it manually, you can. But I want it to work the way it's supposed to. But that is pretty much going to do it for today. So I got a lot done with this. I'm not changing to save that. I just want to back out here. Like that was huge. So I completely flushed out Trial of Poisons for Hoshin. And I have some of the other ones, and I might work on those scenes in between and just get over to level 0 before next week. We'll see what happens. But that was the big thing that I wanted to do. What I might do instead is I might just go through and just do all the scene 1 and 2s and the scene 4s for all of the origin stories, just so that they're done, because obviously the trials are what's taking a little bit longer, because I'm trying to think out how I want those to play out and be tested. Like this one, I think it's good to have options, because there's a lot of ways that a player can approach it, and I like having all of them there. And so just leaving a GM note going, all right, which option are they choosing? And if they do end up in a combat, that's written right there. And then the other thing I need to do is add in a origin story, with thief, you know, something like that. But anyways, that is it for today. So appreciate anyone who is joining me, or if you're watching this later, let me know in the comments what you think of it, how it's being built so far. If you have any reviews of DC20 Forge or any questions, catch me on my Q&As on Wednesdays Eastern Standard Time at 9 p.m. and for these live streams on Fridays at usually 7 or 8 a.m. It depends on which one. Depends on when I have to go into work. If I have to go, if I have to go to work at 9, I'll be on at 7. If I have to go work at 10, I'll be at 8. But thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons. You can follow me on and support everything I'm doing with DC20 Forge on Patreon, or just getting a membership subscription on DC20 Forge. And check us out later on Fridays on our podcast. I know, so many announcements. Podcasts are aiming to be 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays. And we will be live later today. So hop on